Here we go. Here we go. Nick, gear down. First gear in the pits. First gear in the pits. Welcome to Winners Take Y'all. Tonight's guest, besides us and Jake Fricker, I mean, that's a hell of a lineup.
That's quite the lineup.
Hey, follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. Definitely recommend you do that. We've been giving away some stuff, so it actually does benefit. We did give away the Jordan Smith jersey. We gave away the Barsha pants. Thanks to Jake for finding that, digging those bad boys up.
I think it's cool they got the Nikki Hayden reference on the back.
Right on, the number 69.
Yeah, I think that's just a cool tribute. And
those are very one-off. Yeah, man.
You know, what a cool thing.
Looking to see Barsha, so watch him break out. But tonight's guest will be Kyle Chisolm. I think he competed in his 177th main event, which is out of control. Like, to do that, I mean, that's like Cal Ripken stuff here, man. That's big numbers. I know you don't know who he is, but played a lot of baseball games.
I actually know that.
A lot of baseball games, a lot of dirt bike races. It's pretty impressive to get through that many main events.
Well,
man.
just to the attrition of it. Look at what happened this past weekend in Tampa, and somehow Chisholm has been able to put together an extremely long career.
And let's talk about the plight of Chisholm, who has. It's not like Chisholm is on a, like, he gets a whole shot, rolls right in through the heat race. The dude, I don't know what the percent. Sometimes he does, but I'm saying like 20% of the time he's probably gone through an LCQ. And holy cow, that's where it all goes sideways for me. So what'd you have to say, Nick?
I mean, if it was a 21-year championship and you took points for the last 21 years,
dude, he's got to be.
He's winning.
Yeah,
21-year championship.
There's stats on that.
Yeah, you just add them up every year and see who's got the most.
Who has the most points for the last 21 years?
They just recently stated this. Clinton Fowler.
Yeah, he was.
Somebody passed
not Chad Reed. Chad Reed's got a bunch.
Chad Reed's way up there, but somebody passed him. Man, I'm drawing a blank. I know everybody.
Jeff Ward, maybe?
No. It's
Are you talking
about
starts or
I'm saying
points?
A recent rider is leading the all-time points. Because I think it was like LaRocco or something.
Probably is.
I hate that I don't know, and I hate to speak about it, but it's just recently been talked about.
Yep.
But I just think the sheer attrition of this sport, the fact that Kyle Chisolm has been able to piece together how many years, Nick? You were saying
21 years this year.
At 21 years,
he could buy beer with his career.
Just his career.
His career can
license.
buy beer.
I just got a text that Eli Tomac has a broken leg.
That is not good.
I don't like that text.
And then it makes him even more of a bad dude that he just guts out of 17th, which is way low for Tomac. In order for a broken leg to get 17th, it would have to only be Tomac's leg.
Yeah, it has to be down at the bottom somewhere.
But what other rider?
Tib,
it
fib,
looks
something.
like a bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely not a femur or anything. But damn,
it's a fib.
Tib fib. There you go.
Yeah, man.
It looked like it. It was so funny. Kyle, your brother Kevin, and I had that conversation. I said I was so afraid that he had a broken leg.
Yeah. Well,
and the way he was
fold
walking.
that thing back like that. And just the fact that it's Tomac, he's such a tough dude.
Dude, pick one headline from that race. Pick one, and it's a massive headline.
Because you want to
there's
start
about
with
9
Malcolm
of them.
Stewart.
Malcolm Stewart wins his first.
Tomac.
Ken Roxon almost dies when 2 KTMs try to kill him. It was a race incident. I get it. Tomac goes down. Hunter Lawrence goes down. Jet's already out. Coot looked great. Chase Sexton goes down.
Yes.
Levi Kitchen goes down.
Oh, there's a lot
RJ
of
Hampshire
events.
gets caught up with the
Triumph Triangle, the Triumph Discus.
So much going on. They had the restart. Pierce Brown looked great. He goes down.
He's a major
They have a red
injury,
flag
right?
restart. Yes, he had some
Broken
stuff
back
in
or
his
neck.
or something. Yeah. Damn.
One other injury bad in the heat race.
And Fortner was sick.
Fortner sick, yeah. Yeah, so if there was 3 Kevin Kellys racing, and 2 of them are on the right and the left side of the sand section.
Don't even give them my
Does
shitty
the
ride.
fastest Kevin Kelly think, I'm just going to shoot between these two?
No, and I'm not. I know we talked about this. There's no way you can blame Roxon.
I'm not blaming. I'm
maybe
talking about if there was
I know,
Kevin Kelly's.
No, because if
Kevin's
I know what
choice?
Kevin Kelly's capable of doing, I'm staying the hell away from that idiot. I would not want anything to do with 2 of me.
It's just such a gnarly looking sand section. The lines are just crisscrossed.
That track was nuts. It
was.
wasn't nuts, but it was.
It also made you think a little
nuts.
bit because he went down and his chain came off, right? Chain derailed.
Sure.
So, Carmichael last week was talking. They were talking about could some of these riders tighten their own chain.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
So, if one of us I'm not saying he's that mechanically inept. Like, I love that guy.
He knows some things. There's no way he doesn't. He's just been around it too long.
We've been on so many shitty motorcycles that if we put it in gear and didn't go, we're looking down at the chain
First things first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you would know, right?
Immediately.
Well, he might have thought, well, maybe the transmission detonated or something way more high profile.
I think they do break different things than me and you would have happen because they just destroy.
I would think wheels and frames and all. Hey, there's Kyle Chisolm. We're going to have him on.
Yeah, so Nick, I do know.
I just feel good about everything that's happening out on the racetrack, and the Swiss T Suzuki's really just been a great bike. The team's been great.
There awesome. It is. Thanks, Kyle. What else? Anything else, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm still one of the few guys that wear a neck brace, and I don't know why, but I mean, maybe Pierce Brown might go down tonight. I don't know. Maybe a little foreshadowing. Maybe he knew something we didn't know.
Yeah. Hey, I do know that some top riders know how to tighten their chain. I saw Nick tighten his chain this weekend.
Top riders.
Yep.
I tightened.
So that's proof that some guys do look down at their chain.
3 fingers, is that what we're doing? We still do that?
Yeah.
But, if you do the 3-finger thing, if you just keep sliding it forward, it's eventually going to get to that point. Where
it's
are
the back of the chain buffer pad.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I was always like, oh,
that's where I throw him 3 fingers
I'd be
there.
like, look, Dad. I'd be like,
you can't help.
And it always gets, if you go up to the counter shaft.
Eventually, it's right.
Yeah. I can only get 2 right up here. It's real tight up here, Dad.
You get big fat sausage fingers in your thing.
What about tightening spokes? My dad was such a, like, if you're going to do anything, that thing better go ding, 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 and he'd be like, whoop, stop.
Oh, yeah, that was his test.
I already lost a spoke on a 24 KTM, like the second time I
You got to work on that. Hey, we need to get you a spoke in there.
I'm still
going day in the dirt.
There's Chisholm with a great start. It's right in the mix.
So
there's instincts right here, like you said, John. For LCQs require 360 vision, eyes on the back of your head, mirrors.
I think certain riders have spatial awareness, and I think Cooper Webb is exceptional at it. He knows, without looking back, he knows that someone's on his right side or someone's on his left side, and he just instinctively moves. For Kyle Chisolm to have
raced in probably as many as anybody,
have made it through all these LCQs, like you said, it's probably 20% of his main event totals were through LCQs or something like that.
Crazy number.
And I don't think any of us could make it through any of them. I think we'd get killed every time.
Johnny G in 15th. So there he is. There's another safe pass. Turns down right underneath him.
I don't think that that's by accident that Chisolm can survive this stuff. He has an extra sense.
You have to.
Dude, and that's a lot of people talk about how Chisolm, you can always count on him. That's why. That's part of why. He's special in certain ways.
I mean, that's consistent.
But you announced his amateur career, Kevin, when he was really young, and he's been a pro forever. So it's
solid career. Made a good bit of money.
I remember his little brother racing some. What's his name? Cody or something?
Yes, it is. Kyle and Cody Chisolm.
So I remember him racing some in 12, 13, 14, so 10 years ago. But I don't ever remember Kyle as an amateur.
He was good.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously he was good.
Damn, it was so long ago. I mean, his first pro race was 2005.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
It might have been 2004.
04. Yeah, I think 04.
Yeah, I think 04.
I think you have to do your homework too. Like I was saying upstairs before we came down for the show, I'm like, if I'm Kyle Chisolm, I look around and go, all right, this is dude's first main event. This is that guy's first main event. Stay away from me. Chad Reed, when he told Travis Pastrana at Daytona, you see him on the starting gate. He goes, dude,
I remember that.
Don't want nothing to do with you in this LCQ, dog. I know how this goes. Because he was wild in the whoops like Travis. It was one of those races where he would just come back for one race a year, and he was like crazy fast. And in the whoops, he'd pass everybody, and then everybody get him back, and then he would get you back again. He's like, I don't want to mess with any of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you guys see the video of Kevin Wyndham going through the whoops on a 125?
Of course. He does this about once a week.
I've seen a few of these, man.
In a hoodies with an open face helmet.
Yes.
Like flip flops or something. Is he at least wearing shoes?
He is. It's 38 degrees, so he is doing that. He's a nut, man.
He is, man.
He
looks like he can go through the whoops as well as anybody today.
As well as Malcolm Stewart is the question.
Oof, no.
He had to have been 12 miles an hour faster than anybody.
He was flying through the whoops.
God,
that's what I mean.
Dang it.
He was going to. That was the most feel good win out of
since AP last year. I mean, just check those two off.
Yeah, if you're going to say, because those two both probably have the biggest fan bases,
the most beloved fans.
Yeah. So is one more expected than the other? I mean, because Malcolm's a 250 champion. Like
AP is too. No,
that's what I'm saying. They're pretty similar. Does one seem more likely?
I mean, you thought Malcolm was going to get one way earlier.
I thought a couple years ago, I felt like Malcolm was always going to get one.
There was a year he was like,
this year.
Then he drive himself into the ground so many times.
This year I didn't feel that way because it was so much up at the front. And
there was deep.
The talent pool is deep.
Yeah, the talent pool.
And man, let me tell you, when
comes Chisholm with a pass, Nick.
He won that race straight up though. I mean, he was the fastest.
He was coming no matter what.
Nick, you missed the pass. Sorry.
It's okay if he misses
it's exciting,
it,
man.
I'm trying to do a show here.
Just turn it off. I want to watch this.
It is hard to have a TV on. And
it's really not. I was being super overly exaggerated. Oldenburg, that bike looks like it's a beta. Is that what he's? What
it's a beta. They don't know what color their machines are. They're either blue or red or chrome or.
Well, they stand out.
But hey, if you analyze a beta up close, it is a super nice motorcycle.
All the nice stuff on, like a TM. They come with just everything.
It comes with the nicest of everything, and who knows how it rides. But
first factory editions were 10 years ago, and TM was rolling them out with.
Yeah, they'd always rolled them. Yeah. They were always factory editions. Yeah.
But that was a feel good win. Like I mean, when he was catching Chase, I was getting excited.
And he wasn't just
more
sort of
excited
catching
than normally. Yeah, and he was.
Well, I thought it was 2.5, 3.5 seconds, and I'm like, all right, it looks like he's settled in. Chase is going to maintain this, but then
it went down to a second out of it.
It was 1.5 seconds like that, and then he was like, oh, there's blood in the water. He's going to make this pass.
That's super cool. I wasn't able to watch the race. I came home, went real quick, and I turned it on, and there's 2 laps to go, and it's Malcolm Stewart.
You had to, catching that with 2 laps to go.
Oh,
you're like,
the greatest. I'm like, get in here, everybody get in here, and I'm yelling, and my family's like, what? They don't care.
We're sleepy.
Yeah, they do not care. And so, but I'm like, don't you want to hear this? You got to see this. You want to hear the interviews and all that. And man, it was everything you would think. I mean, the kid was, and I also noticed that just about every manufacturer,
they all came inside.
They all came and told him congrats and gave him hugs. And
hey,
that tells you how well liked he
is.
What
if Malcolm's just feeling it now, and now he knows he can do it?
Get the first one done.
What if he reeled off like 5 in a row?
All of a sudden, I mean, hey, that's usually what happens.
Because if he lucked into that wind, I would say that was impossible.
Right.
He did not luck into that wind.
What if they have gnarly whoops from here on out, and that's how he does it?
Did you hear Cooper I texted you what he said in the press conference there? He goes, they must have been blind whenever they resurfaced these whoops. He was like, these things were atrocious.
No, I didn't.
He said after his heat race win or something.
They were blind people running the equipment.
Well, that's what he said. He was not pumped on the track prep.
Dude, and that's probably like
it's that dirt though. Look how dark that
hire
dirt is,
or something. If you start hiring blind people to run your equipment, I know they need jobs too, but maybe why they got
just poor planning.
Yeah, you should maybe put them in HR or something. Like, why they got to run equipment?
Yeah,
resurfacing whoops. Oh, you're blind? Well, you just stay between the tough blocks. They're like, what are those?
I don't even. Yeah, see, they don't even know what any of that stuff is.
Well, they didn't hire them for test riders.
Well, yeah. So that was a little bit of a slap.
Yeah,
it made them unhappy.
They're only going to take so much
before they. Yeah, if we don't get this equipment operator's job,
son, Brian
Stokes.
No, Brian. His dad is damn it. He comes to Loretta's every year. He's blind.
Oh, yeah, Brain.
No.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
His dad's name Brian Spencer. His dad's name's Artie Spencer. You probably know Artie Spencer because he raced all the local
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He comes to Loretta's, listens to all the races. And
Brian's pretty smart about
He's
Moto.
very smart. He can listen. Like where we lack in everywhere else, he obviously picks up in the sound. He's one of the biggest he is the biggest motocross fan that I know.
Well, for someone
but he doesn't run heavy equipment
and walk the track and then be like, oh wow, this is super steep. I can't imagine. And I don't know if he was blind
from Dallas, Georgia,
birth.
by the way. You didn't hear that, but
this kid's from Dallas, Georgia. That's Alatoona Creek right there.
That's what they said.
That's
just
right
got
up the street from me.
Yeah, they were just like, this is blah 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 from Dallas, Georgia.
That's 2 miles from here. That track right there.
Yeah,
they just finished it.
Rhett goes over there and terrorizes all the little kids every so often. Him and Grant
knocks people off of.
But they're going like 40 miles an hour faster than everybody else.
There's a lot of kids go over there.
Yeah,
a bunch of single moms and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Where else are they going to go? And the kid's pretty occupied.
They call it pump tracks, and Nick, it's a pump track for different reasons for Nick.
And Nick's like, man, I love a good pump track. Man,
good single mom at a pump track.
Yeah. Dude, and the fact that it's out in the woods next to nature, it's just really refills your soul.
Keep pumping away. I'm going to go in the woods with your mom.
Junior's.
This is weird, man.
Junior's pumping away. Nick's like,
it's all about the rhythm catch backside on your mom, bro. Hey, speaking of backside, like you come from a BMX background. No, and I mean, if you watch this race, Dude, it was so hard for these guys to get clean backside on about half the track. Like, they came up short. They would 50-50 so many different jumps.
The rhythms, dude.
So and there's nothing they could do about it. Before the finish line, hardly anybody got over that double before the finish line jump.
You know, there's
Anderson was will tapping. He was like pop over.
When you ever see the laps of the dude that isn't clean on the rhythms versus the guy that is, I mean, it's major time. 2 seconds.
The Lit Pro guys put that footage side by side of Ken Roxon and somebody else, I don't know, Sexton or something, and all the difference was clipping a jump, and they showed the sections, and it's incredible.
Isn't that hard to believe? Like, that's the difference between you winning and you maybe third.
Everybody
fifth.
may have been doing it, but did you see they did show it one time? There was like a double out of a corner with a tabletop, and Jason Anderson came out of the corner and then wheelied across.
No, that's what I'm talking about. He will tapped it. He went bop
wheel,
over.
Yeah.
They were all jumping it, which it really wasn't faster, but it was super cool. Like, he did it early on in the main event. Probably the second lap, I was like, whoa, I did catch that.
That's a pretty cool little. I mean, even if it wasn't faster, it just
looks
awesome.
dope. Can you imagine? Can you wheel tap something like that? I would kill myself.
That's
accidental. If I do that,
was like a
some shit's going sideways.
He wheel tapped a step on, step off.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm wheel flipping. Like, there's no tapping.
For wheel flipping.
It's wheel slamming because I'm going right over the bars.
Have you ever done that? Like,
no.
Like, you jump a jump into the face and then go bop and jump off. I mean, we sound
I've
so stupid.
all kinds
of course
things,
you can,
but it has to be small. I can't. These dudes do it on big stuff
and full power.
Oh, this was a huge
that's what I mean.
Tabletop step on, step off.
It was
basically
ginormous.
what it was, and he just wheelied right.
There's another story, McAdoo with his broke ass ACL. Like, how do you even do that?
Well, and these guys, I feel so like Pro Circuit didn't deserve everything that happened to them.
What
this
did
year.
Mitch sold his soul for those first 10 titles?
Something happened.
Whatever it takes.
Because the door of their semi is loaded with number one plates.
Not for a minute.
And now it's loaded with like
Can you
X-rays.
imagine riding,
They took he was walking that night. He said, I will. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, I'll ride.
And they'll take them legs is what we're going to do.
And he's, riding with a torn ACL.
They're set there. Yeah. No, that's what I'm
but
saying.
it is McAdoo. He's got that.
He's wild.
Big energy.
There's Cullen Park.
He does.
Best jaw in the business.
He's got that big D energy, evidently.
Hey.
Big sack energy. My wife, I was like, she goes, she don't know anybody in Supercross. She goes, is that the guy that rode with his junk out last year? I'm like, I knew you remember that.
He represented well, man. I mean, dude,
what if it wasn't like impressive?
Yeah, what if it wasn't? Everybody be like, hey, man, that's miniature McAdoo. They would have nicknames for him. I don't know that there are certain people who've ridden their whole
That's where he
career
will tap right there.
without an ACL. There's people who've been able to do it.
But it's like, my son asked me, he goes, how do they do it? Like baseball, you have to run, you have to cut. It's different. Like, you can do it in Moto.
You're pivoting off your feet, left and right, left and I think the impact is usually straight up and down until it isn't. And that's what tears the ACL.
Get some.
So
I remember we were a day in the dirt, and Kevin was going to set up the mini Moto, and Pastrana was there, and he said, yeah, but you just have to make it all go
one way because I don't have an ACL.
He said, I don't have an ACL in my right leg. I can't go that direction.
Oh, okay. Still don't have it.
Well, there's guys that make it and they learn how to cope, and I guess the other muscles are built so it doesn't.
See, that's another Doc McGinley question. I'd love to know how you do it.
How do you keep rolling, right? So,
I need all my parts.
When somebody's got a freshly, which I think McAdoo is a recent tear, right?
Yeah, like 10 days ago.
So he's still dealing with pain, and it feels so unstable, and you know what I mean? I think that will affect him. He can't charge.
Hey, is that too heavy a tweed for James?
Man,
that's a heavy tweed.
Heavy tweed.
That's a what's the name? The Bear Bryant tweed.
This is a Kevin Kelly question.
But like, look how thin, and Lee's is thin and lightweight.
Well,
we're in
he's
Tampa,
from another
Florida.
Country.
I know, but like that's a Peaky Blinders
There's
tweed.
two things I don't get about it. The tweed is very heavy.
That's a PBT, son.
It's the bottom, but I always thought it was the top
button when you're standing up.
Yeah, top button.
That's correct.
And if you notice, if you may have,
is he always going bottom button?
There's two pockets on the right side of his jacket.
What are we doing?
That's for smokes.
Look, yeah, RC's rolling with the top button.
Two pockets.
Lee, two.
He's got the bottom button. Now,
when
look,
you
see
say
that
two
pockets, look on the left.
He does.
Is that like
just under James's arm?
Do you think that was Tupac's full name?
Two pockets of
on his jacket.
Shakur. That's how he got his name.
Two pockets Shakur.
I think so.
That's what started that war. It would have never escalated to what it had if he
There's
just had
throwing
one pocket.
He just just massively threw it. There's Hymas. He's just back from just barely on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's Levi Kitchen.
It's funny because just the list, if you take just the list of riders
That's the same
from the
jacket
East
James
Coast,
had on. I'm just kidding.
It is
the
it's the deep, deep field,
It is.
right?
I looked through the top.
But then right out to the right of them, every injury that's going on right now, and you're like, is it
ACL, the flu.
Yes, it's been a bad week.
Hymas is just getting back.
I think this past race had more events, more issues than any.
And it wasn't a
race
triple crown, dude. If that was a triple crown, my
it'd
head would
be
have blown off my
caskets and
body.
stuff, dude.
Caskets.
It would be gnarly.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
Supercross has been so good this year. And you know what? The first thing it's no mud.
Super nice.
Suck it, mud. I am
Well,
all domes, dude. No mud.
yeah. I mean, I hear you. There's some
None.
open stadiums coming.
And
though.
like I get in those arguments, we just like, oh, it make the closest racing. Yeah, the closest 8 mile an hour racing.
if we didn't have outdoor motocross,
I'm okay with it.
I would
there.
agree with you.
It's not.
Or I
really
wouldn't agree with you.
I'm okay. Yeah, exactly. I want it. Look, they sell Supercross on the. It's concrete. It's sanitary. Get in, get out. All
Go
the
to the
things.
concession
Yes,
stand,
all the
go
things
to
that
the
make it
back. Yeah.
easy, and then they just dump. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah. Well, I like to just say without, even though I don't mean it, that your goal is to castrate pro motocross.
I know you say that.
Just
you
kidding.
artificial whoops.
Yeah, just Kevin.
He's gonna have Kevin is gonna be.
And hey,
like,
the
Kevin's like, can we have some fans
be
about
on that
halfway?
pump track like that kid was riding.
Yes.
Concrete.
Yeah. Can we make it concrete?
You're
kidding,
probably not
Kevin.
far away from that, though.
I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. The Resi thing.
Spec motorcycles. Everybody rides the same bike, same tires.
Yeah, right. There he is. There's Chance Hymas.
Same
So,
body work,
power.
just like NASCAR. They
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
Same thing. They just put a different name on.
yeah, put a different name. Yep. So I don't know. Me and Nick were able to go ride this week.
Yeah, that's right.
For the first time.
Y'all both did 2 different rides during the week too, right?
No,
I did. I rode some off road, which I just haven't been on a motorcycle enough. And I'm like, damn, the dirt's coming. I need to ride some. And thankfully, Fannin County opened their doors and
Heck yeah.
had a practice day. Softest as we've ever ridden it. It was rutted to no end, and people were, that track is usually prepped real mild. It's real shallow, real, easy to go fast on. But for this time, it's like first gear and hoping.
It was not easy to go fast on. I never
easy.
went fast in not one spot.
No, it was hard.
It was like
And we saw kids eating it left and right. They get cross-routed and
the
stuff.
only place you could go fast. They had that step up and over that tabletop.
Down the pit
Yeah.
road, like once you get off the track, just
And I'll tell you, there are new people entering the sport.
that's good.
And they
That's
are
healthy.
all at Fannin County.
Yes.
Every new rider is there.
Man, so is that on purpose? Because Ichikane was running.
I think it's just they were all local. They were mostly from up there. So it wasn't like a huge practice day. There weren't millions of people. I'm joking a little bit. My goal was to say, I saw some really sketchy stuff. Like, dude, they just don't know how to ride yet. And thankfully,
And
everybody
that track got
survived it.
really, really rough.
And that'll
Yeah.
highlight those
Yes,
attributes
it
for
starts
sure.
showing
Point
off.
If there's
that
ruts and it's your first time, it's like, I hate it for people that show up on a day like that. Like that's
Yeah.
a warrior's day, and if you're a first time rider, you're like, is this?
And
what
the first
dirt
time
bikes are
guy
all about?
didn't know that, hey, man, maybe I should slow down just a
Chill
little.
out, man.
They
No,
try
you got to pin it in them
kill
ruts
it.
like being on a boat, man. Get on top of it.
Like it was rough enough to where, against my better judgment, I had to force myself to go out for my last moto.
Dude, Nick told me, he goes, man, I'm not going to do it. Like he's bowed out of that last little
When you
ride
start
there.
feeling that, you definitely need to listen to yourself.
Check
That's-
Jason Thomas when that thing blows up. He kind of goes, you can't hear it, but he right there.
That's
when it
wild
blows
looking,
up.
isn't it?
He was a little uncomfortable.
Well, I'm
Chad
sure
loves
uses,
it. Chad's like super stoked.
I'm sure that uses some sort of like an airbag
CO2.
explosive
Yeah.
type. Yeah. So
So are people wearing these racing now?
Fortner did.
Did he?
I
Yeah.
think they want to be wearing it, and there's still some stuff to work out because there's a
They're
lot of
testing it.
impacts that are so hard
Fortner
that
raced
aren't
in that.
crashes. That
Yeah.
thing is trying to sense G-force.
And they were saying like all the G's you take on the face of a jump and a berm and doing those kind of things. How does it know the difference?
I can't imagine trying to make it know the difference.
right.
Because-
Road racing would be pretty
But
predictable. But
At least
Moto,
it doesn't put you down if it goes off. It's not like it's
Yeah, you just
You
all
just
of a sudden
blow
be
off
like,
the
"Wow,
bottom.
that
Yeah,
dude
hit
must
the
have
nose.
got an injection of
you could still
steroids."
ride with it or whatever.
yeah.
They're like
here we go.
mid-race, man. Look how pumped up
Star
he
Racing
is.
put 4 of the top 6 guys
In brown
the first
pants.
turn in those khakis. That mint green and khaki, it's a solid. I mean, they're
Not
trying to
a
reinvent the
color-
wheel because you remember who was it a couple of weeks ago? Was that one?
Is
was
this
the-
a Hallman thing though? Like,
who was the kid?
isn't that Thor?
Yeah, that's definitely Thor.
So is this throwback gear? Are we trying to look
No,
like
they're
Malcolm?
just they'll play around with shit and then they'll be like, it's
but
not really
brown
selling.
and green.
I mean, that's like desert off road stuff.
hey, those jerseys though, I can see those jerseys. Like that's no problem to have
Stands
those
out.
jerseys. Like No problem. I just don't know about the
military issue.
The Desert Storm.
You see that every now and again. They'll play around with stuff, and then they'll be like, "We're done with that."
Is that team rider only, or do we know that makes it to a dealership?
I would think Kyle can answer that question because he's been to all the Thor stuff. I would think you're going to be able to buy that. They would not run that out there.
For the guy, the dealer.
They would run it on 19 people in the main event if they were.
Yes, dude, it was everywhere.
Well, they got 5 of them in there right now, dude. Damn.
That's what I mean.
They got Thrasher, Bennett, Anstey, Brown.
40-man team.
It's 4 guys there. They had 4 of the top 6 in the first turn there. Damn, it sucks for Pierce Brown. Going down in those whoops, dude. What a bummer.
And it's a major injury, dude. He's going so fast, and you're waiting on him. All he needs is like one string of things to go right, and there he's the guy, and he's in the talks for all these other rides and things like that. But it just self-destructed there.
Roxon's not hurt, right? His bike is broke. So
it looks like he should have been hurt.
He's not.
He guarantee he's sore.
But he'd be a good person to put money on to win a race.
Oh, of course,
dude. He
was about to win.
He's been as good in the first 5 rounds as he's been in.
I think ever, like since 17.
Great. He has been
because he is.
No Jet, no Hunter, no Eli. That opens up some.
Well, there's blood in the water.
And he had a good start anyway, regardless. And then I believe
he could have won one anyway. But
yes,
but. He's
not completely out of the points, so I think he's 18 points back or something.
Well, and after all the junk that happened this weekend, that could happen next weekend, and Kenny be chilling there back with his points.
And as unpredictable as Chase Sexton has been in years past, I mean, the most steady force is that number 2. Cooper Webb does not make ginormous mistakes.
Cooper Webb.
He is a. No, I mean, he's been great, and he was the second fastest to the whoops, which is frightening for everybody else.
Well, especially. Mookie was the fastest, right?
Yep.
And then Cooper's second. So I think it's one of those things where Cooper is sort of silent and sort of low key. And man, but he's not on the tracks, on the results, on the racecraft. He can. This
is where he gets going. The East Coast, if he can just make it out of the West Coast as close as he is right now,
this
he's
is a
very
good
dangerous.
Start. Yes, for sure.
RJ Hampshire pumped on that tough block. That tough block.
Look at this thing. It hated him.
4 people cannot get that tough block out.
It hated him.
My motorcycle would have poured a gallon
You
of
would
gas
think he would carry an X-Acto knife or just something with him, just whip it out of his pants.
Samurai sword.
Yeah, or a sword. Yeah, you'd think he'd just have one, but
I wonder if Fortner put that there.
Watch the.
I think he was all playing by
Triumph, dude. Ricky did that.
Triumph's angry.
Carmichael did that to him.
Dang. That's a championship hopeful right there. Vial and him, both out here having problems. Vial salvaged, what, a 5th? 4th?
That looked like a tube, like a Triumph tube. Yeah, like you pull behind the boat.
Man, these sand sections have been, personally, they cause havoc, but man, if we don't have them, what do we have? Like, is a race less?
I think it's okay to have it. I don't like it when they put it in a turn and it ends up being one line or whatever. I like that straightaway business. Like, put it in there. I bet the dudes hate it, but because how do you pick? What do? You don't pick a tire for that.
Malcolm didn't hate it.
No,
he did not hate it.
He's a Florida boy.
We do have Dax Bennett coming up next week. We're set to have him on tonight, but he has a meeting with his agent, not Lucas Myrtle, so don't sweat that. He's going to hold on to all his money. And I'll tell you what, his dad is way too savvy. If you know his dad, Todd Bennett.
Is he out of North Carolina, like a home builder or something?
Nope. He sells RVs. He buys like RVs from like NASCAR dudes.
Okay.
Flips them,
so
sells them.
You're not talking standard RVs. We're talking
big boy money.
Big,
Prevos.
toter homes.
Yes. Yeah, and they used to do up until, I was going to ask Dax that. We'll ask him next week. He used to do freestyle shows when he was on like 80s with his dad. Todd was doing them up until about 8 years ago. Like in the parking lots of like a thrift town or something.
Which is wild, right? Of a thrift town. And out here, you local boy.
Thank you.
Todd Bennett.
Let's give it up for Chad Lowe, Todd Bennett, and Jim Neese, folks.
Busting out no-footers and one-handers. Is that what you're saying they did?
I don't think they were back flipping.
No, but they were doing like they were whipping.
Yeah, just standard. And stuff. You can get away with that at a thrift
town. Did he
town.
race at Loretta's and stuff? You ever announce him there?
No, he was. I don't even know. Todd was done with Loretta's by
88,
90.
Okay.
He's my age, so I would think he was. I'm sure he was there.
One thing
he was a mega series rock star though. Him, Jim Neese, Chad Lowe,
Jim Chester, probably
Jim Chester, Kevin Walker.
Yeah, Kevin Walker.
That with them dudes, you can just forget it. That's your top 5 at every Muddy Creek.
One thing that we don't ever talk about, like when you watch these races, and you're seeing these pros, like you remember them as amateurs, almost all of them.
Absolutely.
Like
I announced Ricky at Hillbilly Hills racing Shea Bentley.
Yeah.
And then he's retired, and like that's how old I am.
Well, that's when you start putting like rings in your tree because you're like, God dang, man, I'm getting old.
I retired that cat.
Yes. But what is that like for you? Like, because some of these kids, you talked to them when they were 10 years old, and now they're 27 and they
with
won.
Kids and like
Yeah.
Cooper. I talked to Cooper Webb at Gatorback, and it was a rain day there, and him and one other kid, they were building forts under the bleachers, and he was great. I told Weege, I said, there's a kid coming, Cooper Webb, outstanding on the mic. He's going to be great. Then he sucked like for several years. At Oak Hill, his dad, he comes off the podium after winning. He goes, man, he sucks at these. He just won, but he goes,
But
he
you
sucks
thought he was
at
going to be
interviews.
great on the mic?
I did at age 10. He was awesome. Super funny.
So why did they think he was going to be terrible on the mic?
Well, he sucked at that. Like when he was like 16, he just stopped talking like he was whatever.
Well,
was,
you start getting icky.
a little more
and stuff when
serious.
you're a teenager. And
Yeah.
Plus, the pressure's on him.
I smell bourbon. Sit on my lap, kid. Tell me about that race. What? You're weird, Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, why does your teeth so crooked and dirty?
I ain't got the brace money you do, boy. I don't got that contingency money for braces.
That's what they use it for.
braces.
Orthodontal money.
Yeah, orthodontal. Yeah, but it's a cool aspect. I mean, you saw these guys.
And I used to do them all. Like I don't do quite as many. I would do Gatorback 2 weeks at Texas, which would be
Texas two-step.
yeah, Lake Whitney and Oak Hill or whatever. And then we would do
Ponca. Did you ever go out there?
I did Ponca, obviously Loretto's. Then we do Mammoth. So there's you got to see them.
You got to see them multiple times.
Yeah,
a year.
and I got to see their parents and get to know them. I always checked in with their parents. I always wanted to know what they did. I said, "Hey, how do you afford to do this shit? Like we're on the road,
dude.
I'm making money
gone
and
for 3 months. Like it's no big deal.
Seriously,
How in the world?
They're all contractors. A bunch of them were anyway.
I got a little heat from the accountant today because I used $12,000 in diesel fuel last year, and I didn't do near what these amateur kids do.
No.
She's like, "Hey man, what's going on with $12,000 in diesel fuel?" And I'm just like, "That's what it took, you know." And we did a bunch of events, and we drove to a bunch of them. We flew to a couple, but I think that's a drop in the bucket. I was driving a vehicle that got 10 miles to the gallon on the highway. They're in these 4 mile, 6 mile to the gallon, and they're just staying in it.
Yeah,
they don't park it. I was parking mine in between races and stuff, you know.
We do the Texas two-step, and they would go from whatever it was, Oak Hill to Whitney or vice versa, and they would go to the Walmart parking lot. And that Walmart parking lot turned into the pits. I'm talking about 1,000 riders, bikes out, awnings out, pressure washing.
Working on stuff, yeah.
And then they would destroy that Walmart. You would go through, you would be like, what just happened? Like, was there a winter storm? Because everything's gone. And then they would
they just buy them out?
Because they wouldn't let you in. Like, you would have to come there for a day and park after Oak Hill or Whitney, and then you cruise in and do the other event. And
well, and Walmart's known for being sort of RV friendly.
Oh, dude.
If you're traveling.
I'm not kidding you. They would roll rugs out. Like, they would set up like they were in the pits. It was bizarre to see. If you just
but
go
I don't know
past
that they are that RV friendly, right? Mud in their parking lot from washing bikes.
I
and
guarantee you
stuff.
that was happening.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm sure they weren't stoked about it.
No, but I guess if you sell the store out the next day.
Right. We're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. They're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They sold a crap ton.
Yeah.
They never would. I know at Oak Hill, what was the name of the Applebee's? Knew exactly when we were coming. They had their liquor sales because that was the only game in town. When I say that bar had 200 people, like you were at a club or something, you couldn't get a beer. It was insane. They knew
that's
to
wild.
Stock it all. And dude, me and Don Collins were in there. They closed the bar, and then we were still in there for 3 more hours. They were just passing ball after that.
If I'm them, I'm staying there, man. This doesn't happen normally.
Dude,
right?
there's no closing.
It was Christmas for them.
It's a good, it's all probably cash or at least more money than normal, you know.
Somebody flatline?
Kevin.
Oh. Again.
So, yeah.
We are about to call Chisholm.
That's fine.
You guys are wondering.
But I just look at that like, man, what a special place for you. You have seen these dudes be kids.
For sure.
You've seen some of them rise beyond their expectations. You've seen
now,
some
I have
like
those
AC.
stories where I'm like, I never expected Phil Nicoletti, Joey Savacci to have those careers. I'm
nice
like,
careers,
wow.
man.
And what's his name? The big old dude that liked to punch Vince Freeze. Freaking A. What's
Weston.
his name? Weston Pike. I remember him at Oak Hill. Me and Wes Kane were announced. I'm like, who in the hell is this big son of a bitch?
Do you remember how he originally looked?
Yes, he was ginormous.
Because he became a little more svelte as time went on, but at first
he was big, dude. I'm like,
he looked like he could kill somebody.
Correct. We called him up there multiple times. I just want to put my face to this guy. I'm like, who is this guy?
How was he? Because he's a little short.
His dad was, they were.
Louis. His dad's name's Louis.
Didn't want to quite engage with them too much.
I think his dad would kill you too.
Sean Borkenhagen, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I remember that.
From Santa Cruz, California. I know they were talking about him. There's some other dudes that popped through that didn't make it. Some did, but.
But you got to see these dudes who should have had the winningest pro career, or man, they shouldn't have won anything. And you got to see some dudes who you thought they'll never make it in the pro class, and all of a sudden they come to life in the pros, like an RV or something.
Shane McElrath at Loretta's went to club about 3 months before. I never really said his name.
Him, right?
Same with Ryan Dungey. I remember Ryan was the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, nothing. Then he comes and wins the schoolboy class and goes right to the truck. That's it.
I do remember that.
Turns 16, goes right to DeCoster.
There's a picture probably right there, right behind you, number 62 on a Suzuki 250 Suzuki.
Immediately was a player.
Like straight from the B class. Pretty much,
yes,
right?
He was not a pro rider. He was riding schoolboy.
Can you imagine that, man?
Year before last, when Kevin and I went to Gatorback to that regional, and Dax Bennett was there, you could tell then he was fat. Like he was clearly.
Yeah, you can tell they're special, right?
Oh my gosh! Like somebody's like,
hey, and
Dax 23. He won the Horizon Award. Yeah, he won everything you're supposed to win that year at Loretta's.
Yeah, and he looked incredible this past weekend.
I mean, his first Supercross, he got a second at Detroit.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
There was some crash, though, or something, wasn't there?
Still got on the podium.
But I don't care. I don't care.
I don't know if you look back at the results.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just saying that was a lightning flash right there.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to discount that. I shouldn't have even said that. But, I just remember something happened. But then right here on Tampa,
he was solid.
It's in there.
Yeah, and he has a little chip on his shoulder, too. When I listened to the post-race interview, and he was like, he goes, I pay attention to those power rankings. He goes, nobody had me in that top 10. He goes, that pissed me off.
Hey,
so here I am.
I like that.
So good for you. That's what I was going to ask you. I like
that's
that.
Healthy.
That's healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Use that.
I'm going to test you and see if I can make this call happen before we waste Kyle Chisholm's time.
Sometimes Kevin, when you want a hot looking guy to call you and he just doesn't, you're like, man, why didn't he call? I gave him my number, and he just doesn't call, and then you're just waiting.
Call, dude.
And he swears he's going to call. And I'm like, why'd they even ask for my number? He's calling. Hey, Kevin.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dog. Right. I could hear you, man. Oh, wait, I didn't ask.
You son of a gun.
Okay, never mind. I heard you hang up on me.
Okay.
I felt pretty good about it. I mean, if nothing else, it'll just be janky audio. Like always.
Janky.
Let's ask Kyle if ED commercials have inspired him to reach out.
Wow.
Kidding.
He's got kids. I don't think he...
You don't have no issues, man. None.
He's got 2 kids. He don't need any of those commercials.
Hello.
Hey, Kyle Chisolm. Welcome to Winners Take Y'all. We are live, so don't go cussing and being stupid.
Oh, dang it. All right.
I know you're a big cusser, right?
Oh, he was about to let you have it.
How many kids do you have?
Let you have it, man. I got 3 little girls now.
3. You're going to try for a boy or a 4th one? What are we doing?
We're trying for the 3rd one to be a boy, but it's a girl. But hey, I have to be honest, having all the same kind of makes it easy. Like they share toys and clothes and hand-me-downs, and
heck yeah.
Feel bad for the 3rd one because she gets all the hand-me-downs. But
you throw a boy in that mix,
be wearing some crazy clothes.
Well, we would both like to have another one, and would both like to have a boy. But Brittany, my wife, she had to have a emergency C-section the first time, and then they were going to try to have not a C-section the second time, but our second one was sideways and wasn't head down, so they had to do a C-section. And then after 2, they had to do that for the 3rd one. They don't even let you try. So she'd have to have another C-section, obviously. So having 4 would be not ideal, for her or whatever, or for her body.
I bet.
So we both would like to do it, and also she has she's sick the whole pregnancy, for all of them. So she's we want another kid, but she doesn't want to be pregnant again. So we're in that dilemma of does she want to do it or not? And I kind of feel bad. So I'm it's up to you if we have another one or not. So as of now, not another one on the way, but we would both like to have a boy.
That's good of you. I would. That sounds a lot better. You're God, we would, but my wife's just bitching and complaining the whole time. All these
throwing up.
It's hard. It's hard, honestly. Seeing how much their bodies change. It's crazy that after having kids, you don't think about it until you have your own. But it's how what they go through to have another human growing inside of them. So it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You don't get any motivation from Tony Alessi, who finally had the boy, dude. He kept on cranking him out. I know. He's got a boy.
He was changing partners too, right?
Yes, I've known Tony, and obviously Mike is the same age as me.
Yeah,
we're a couple months apart, and we grown up together racing and stuff. And for Tony, like still having the kids, how young they are, it's just crazy. I mean, it's awesome. I think it's cool. Like not a bad thing, but it's like just crazy. That he's had that many more kids, and like the whole boy thing. But it's cool that he ended up getting a boy.
So, I think he's he's AMA 9 months.
I knew you were going to say an age with AMA in front of it. I knew
AMA 9 months, baby.
AMA 9 months, because there was some thought to that.
I was saying, honestly, I don't know when his birthday is. I know, but I can't think of it right now. And I'm like, oh, he had that kid's birthday's planned for like January or something like that.
Everybody,
stay down a year.
There you go.
No, for sure. Yeah. Hey, how are you with your kids? Are you able to enjoy it, or is there a part of you that feels the need to be able to provide? Like I just know when my kids were little, I look back now because one's 21 and one's 18, and I look back and I go, man, I was so focused on just making sure I could provide for my kids. I probably just didn't have the greatest attitude at times. It felt like a load. I mean, do you ever have that, or are you comfortable with it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think any good parent, right, is probably going to have that, right? Because you probably have that feeling because you want to do this, want to do that, but you can't do everything all the time, right? So like, I think that just shows like you're probably a good parent, that you care, right? Like if you didn't care, you'd be like, it's whatever, I don't really care. But I think it's hard, like finding that balance. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, yes, you want to provide and give them everything you can and whatever, but then you want to be able to be there too, and it's hard to do all of it, right? So I think, like I said, just the fact that you care enough to like think like, I want to provide this, whatever. I think no matter what, you're probably doing good one way or the other. But I feel like it's always give and take a little bit. Like if you're in a season of like your job's doing really well and you have to focus on that, it's maybe a little bit of a sacrifice, but then maybe you get to another season as they get older or when they're younger, vice versa, where you can be there a little bit more and present a little bit more, and work maybe takes a little bit of a backseat or whatever. But it is hard. Like, that's what's tough for me, honestly. Like, I'm 37, I'll be 38, later this year, and racing is all I have. Like, you guys know how much we're gone. And even when I'm home, like I'm home Monday through Thursday, or whatever, Sunday night through Thursday. But like I'm still riding at least 2 of those days. So I'm at the track, pretty much all day. I leave in the morning, come on. It's basically like a normal job, right?
Yeah.
I leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 in the morning, get back at 4 or 5 in the afternoon riding, and just not home a lot. So that's the toughest thing. Like, I love racing. I love traveling. I like going to all the different places and cities and racing on Saturday. I love riding during the week, but then it is that I'm not home as much as I would like to be. I'm gone, 35 weekends, or even more than that now with World Supercross.
Yeah.
35 weekends a year that I'm not home. So it's tough. That's been the toughest thing is like, when do I stop racing? Not whatever. Because I still love to do it, and I feel like I can do it longer. But I also, my kids, they're 8, 6, and 2, and like my 8 and 6-year-old, they're like, gosh, I can't, like my 8-year-old's she'll be 9 in, I don't know, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So like, gosh, she's already going to be 9, and I'm like, the never-ending, question for the last 4 or 5 years is, when do I stop and try to be home more? But I do love what I do too, so not complaining at all, but just trying to find that balance to be a dad and also work and provide.
Yeah. Take us through, like, being home Monday through Thursday. What is a normal day, Monday through Thursday, for you?
It varies, obviously, especially with the kids and like their schedule stuff. But for me, Monday, typically not riding, because if we race, if it's during season, right? During the season, we're racing on Saturday, we're flying home on Sunday. Depending if it's West Coast, East Coast, who knows what time we get home Sunday. Monday is more of like recovery day, like run some errands, go to the grocery store or whatever, like kind of normal life stuff, get ready for the rest of the week. I'll probably do like not easy, but a little easy recovery,
marathon.
Bicycle ride. Yeah. Like an hour bike ride, or maybe like a 30 or 40 minute run, something like that. and stretching, kind of just recovering from the weekend, like active recovery.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll ride Tuesday, Wednesday, either Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, like a Tuesday is like get up, have breakfast, do a little warm up, drive to the track. I'm at the track most of the day, get home. Today I had a kind of shorter, like a 45-minute like interval bike ride that I did, like some intensity work, like some interval stuff. Tomorrow I'll ride again, do a warm up in the morning, go ride, come home, do a gym workout. And then Thursday, if it's not a week where I'm riding Thursday, it'll be another, again, not easy, but like a, base kind of some type of cardio and a little bit of gym work, stretching, kind of getting ready for the weekend. And then sometimes flying Thursday night, if not Friday morning, flying to the next city that we're going to. So a couple days of riding, some gym work, cardio work, and trying to maintain the body too. Getting older, that's something I've definitely had to focus on a little bit more.
What's the structure of your like who's paying for all this stuff? Like, you have to pay a membership somewhere? Does your team take care of that? Your trainer? Like, because I don't think you're making millions of bucks. I'd like to know that you're stacking as much of that as you can away, because if you have to pay a trainer, pay to go be at a track. So how's that all work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I make about $5 million a year. No, I'm kidding. I wish.
Okay, all right.
I wish
I'm doing it wrong, dude.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah. No, for me, honestly, as you guys know, I've done it so long. And again, I never by any means I think what's kept me going so long is that I'm a student of the game, right? Like I always, you have to be constantly evolving and learning, trying to get better, because I've done this for 20 years now, Supercross for 20 years, and you can't do it for that long if you don't learn and get better, right? Because everything keeps evolving and changing. So, but with that said, I've done it so long, I kind of know what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and I kind of try to learn from others and try to implement, I'm going to try that. Oh, that worked, or that didn't work, and right? So I don't have a trainer. I do everything myself. All my off the bike and on the bike training is all me. Recovery stuff. Typically, I'll try to get a massage. I usually don't end up getting to go once a week, but try to go once a week. It's usually end up being every other week.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get anything worked on that I need. And then honestly, a lot of stretching, a lot of I don't want to say yoga, the meditating yoga, but it's literally warm up yoga, stretching, just stuff like that. So
you can say yoga. We're not going to think any less of you if you say yoga.
No, I'm 51, Kyle, so I understand.
It can be hell-raising yoga.
I did yoga today.
Downward dog.
Downward
dog.
Junior yoga.
Yeah.
Junior.
Junior.
You could do yoga for motocross.
If I do need stuff, yeah, yoga for vet motocross racers, right?
There you go.
40 plus. I'll be coming up on 40 plus yoga. That's what we'll call
nuts.
It. But no, if I do need some therapy, I have a place that I go to if I have a little injury bugging me or something. Typically throughout the year, there's always something. We're always if you're healthy, you're never really healthy. Quote unquote. Something's always kind of nagging or hurting. So, I have the ice machines and all the stuff, all that stuff I've accumulated over the years. And I have a good place I can go to if I need some therapy. And so fortunately and unfortunately, I'm pretty experienced in most things that, that come up and I got to deal with, and, kind of learn when to ice it, when to rest it, when to push through it, and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So is this your 21st year or your 20th year?
This is the 20th. This is the 20th of Supercross. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So I did an outdoor race. Yeah, I did an outdoor race in 2004 after Loretta's. Got hurt right after that, so I stayed amateur another year. 2005, I did a couple outdoor races. I raced in Canadian outdoors and still some amateur stuff. Just kind of did a few pro races. And then 2006 was my first full year of doing Supercross and stuff.
So if they had
I did. My first pro race was 2004, but my first Supercross year was 2006.
So if they had a lifetime championship and they added up all the lifetime points, you probably would be the lifetime champion of Supercross.
I don't know. There's some guy, like Chad. He raced longer than me even, and he scored a lot more points than I did, obviously, winning as many races and stuff as he did. But I'm sure I'm up there somewhere on the list, whatever.
Did he go 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he went 20 years of winning titles and getting thirds and seconds.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
He just
even if he only did
accumulated
15
more
years,
points.
he was winning.
I'd still say outside of Chad and then LaRocco, Barry Karsten.
Yeah.
Heck, not even Barry, really. He did do a lot of years.
Brayton.
There was a year where he had an
Brayton. Brayton raced for quite a while too. He got a lot of points. He was good for quite a few years.
That's quite the list of names right there, Kyle. I mean, if you're 16 years old and we say, hey, this is what your career will look like when you're done, Are you happy with that? I mean, we think it's incredible. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, on one hand, like I'm a competitor and I'm a competitive person, just in nature in general. And you always look back and be like, oh, I wish I'd done this different, done this different. I wish I would have done better. I wish, I always want to be better, right? Like even today or tomorrow, I want to be better than I was today. So you look back and like, well, I wish I did better. I wish I could have won more races or done this or done that. But at the same time, stuff happens, right? I have injuries and, just the way things work out. So for me at this point, yes, I wish I could have done better at times and this and that, but to get to do what I've done for as long as I have, like not many guys have that long of a career, just like the NFL or whatever, you don't get to do this that long.
Yeah.
And for me to get to race Supercross for 20 years, like just that in and of itself
awesome.
Is a pretty good accomplishment. And yeah, for me, like the starts list, I think I'll tie McGrath. I think the next main that I make, I'll be tied with Jeremy on like premier class starts or something like that, which will put me like 7th or 6th, 7th, 8th, I don't know, somewhere like that. Top 10 on, premier class starts.
That's an accomplishment.
I think I'm also top 10 on total.
Hey, so what do you think the percentage is of you and LCQs? Like, I mean, do you think 20% of your...
Yeah, Kevin thinks maybe you made it to the main...
by way of 20%?
Through the LCQ?
Yeah.
Gosh, somebody put this stat out not that long ago, and it was like, it was at the beginning of the year, and gosh, I don't remember how many times it was now. It was quite a few. And my transfer rate out of the LCQ, like if I had to go to the LCQ, 75% of the time I make it out of the LCQ. Like I make it to the main.
Yeah.
And that was before this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like if I had to go to the LCQs, then 75% of the time I make it.
That's incredible.
When I go to the LCQ, I make it 75%.
Yeah, that's a dangerous.
That's a minefield of riders to get. I mean, that's
and we were talking about how long your career was.
Yeah,
we were talking about how long your career was, and you can speak to this. Like for this guy to run through, I don't know, pick 40 LCQs. Good Lord, man, to still be here to talk about.
I want to. For some reason, I want to say 57 is the number. Whatever the post was, it was like I've been to 57 LCQs and I make it 75% of the time.
Out of 177 mains, though.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I'll bet you nobody survived 57 LCQs.
And I think that's just premier class too. Like, not that I rode the 250 a ton, but yeah, that's just 450 stats too, I believe.
You've got to have if they tested you, you'd have like some kind of alien like
Jesus Christ,
peripheral vision. Yeah. Like your peripheral vision would be like an antelope or something.
His
eyes on the side of your head.
Damn alligator or something.
Yeah. Hey, and we did talk about that.
Shark.
There you go.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, Kyle. Like, we feel like there's certain riders that have I'll use the term, like I said earlier, a spatial awareness. Like you're aware of riders around you without having to see them. Cooper Webb is also known for this. You have to be good at that because you have been able to survive this long and heck prosper this long.
And those are the worst of the worst. When I'm saying you look around and you're like, hey man, how many main events you been in? He's like, none. You're like, oh shit, I'm parked next to this guy on the starting line. Like that's the kind of stuff I would be thinking about. If you were lined up next to me, you are screwed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you out on the start accidentally. I don't even mean it. I have no idea what I'm doing.
It is. The LCQs they're cutthroat. Like those guys, they're short races. So a lot of those guys, it's not like it's a 20-minute main event. A lot of those guys can go fast for 5 laps or whatever, 5, 6 laps, whatever it is. And because it's so short, if you don't get a good start, don't put yourself in a good position, you don't have time. Even if you're a lot faster than the other guys, you don't have time to make it up, right? Because there's not enough time in the race. So yeah, it is a lot about position, getting yourself in a good position, like track position off the start and just the first couple laps, and being smart, right? Like if you're not where you want to be, try not to panic, try to work your way up like smart, methodically. And then, knowing where people are around you, knowing where you are, where other people are around you, your position, who the guys that you're racing against, how they race. And, there's a lot to it. And again, unfortunately, that I've done it so many times, you kind of, it's never easy, but you try to, just, let your experience, help you and, kind of guide you into and put yourself in a good position. So, it's one thing that you get is the experience.
Well, and the flip side of that, we sit there and talk about LCQs, but the flip side of that is you are known as a guy who gets it done, and you generally make it through the heat race, even as you've gotten older. And like, there's a ton of people that know that Chisholm will perform. Like it's a known thing. You're gonna make it in, and you're gonna, I would say exceed expectations. I don't really know, why I say that, but you always have done well, and it's like
that's a weird skill set.
I think it is too. I mean,
it's it's an actual skill set.
Some dudes can go lightning fast, and then they crash out, and then they're out for 4 years or 2 years or whatever.
Who was it? Ferrandis didn't make it out of an LCQ this year. There's been a guy or two.
Yeah, A1. Yeah, A1. He didn't make it. I think Colt, my teammate, had one. He didn't make it. It's tough, and like Ferrandis, for example, he was in third, I think, at A1, third or fourth. Either fourth trying to make a pass for third or third trying to go to second.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to pass somebody around. I think it was Brees. He tried to pass around the outside, and Brees bumped him over the berm. And it's kind of like, man, like, do you not A, know who you're racing against, and B, you don't pass somebody around the outside. Exactly. I don't mean that bad.
No.
Yeah, I don't mean that bad by any means. Like, Brees isn't a dirty rider or anything.
No, not at all.
But he's an aggressive rider. He's not going to just let you by, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you can't just pass that guy on the outside in an LCQ. You got to kind of be just a little more aware sometimes. But yeah, I think for me, I always do pretty good under the pressure. I put more pressure on myself, I think, than anybody else ever has, because I work hard and I want to do good, right? So for me, I think just in those situations, you're under the pressure and you got to perform. And I typically kind of rise, again, I'm a competitive person by nature. And I think when I'm under that pressure, it's like, okay, I got to rise to the occasion and make things happen. And like I said, typically make it happen. But it's not easy.
That says something about you, like John said, just being intelligent and having spatial awareness, because and to think about Ferrandis, you don't pass that guy on the outside, because that guy spent all day and like he's going for, like, he's thinking this is his chance.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like and they're in the LCQ, but they're still badass riders. You know what I mean? Like, by comparison, everybody's like, oh, they're in the LCQ.
For sure, they're some of the
best
there are.
If you're
talented riders.
Yeah, if you make the 40-man gate, out of the daytime qualifying, for the heat races and stuff,
you're good.
You're a really good rider. All those guys are really good.
Yeah, so they're not gonna cut you any quarter when they're, because they're trying to get there.
Absolutely, especially Ryan Brees. He is an arena cross specialist.
Yeah, and especially in that race, like I said, that's why you gotta know you're like, what race is this? Who am I racing against? Where am I at? Like, there's so much to it that you can't go, okay, well, this is an LCQ. Now, if it was a main event and it's halfway through the main event, maybe Brees doesn't be that aggressive, right? Because there's still 10 minutes of racing left or whatever. And, it's like, okay, hey, man, just make the pass and I'll try to tuck in behind you. But in an LCQ, it's like, no holding back. It's like, no, dude, this is only a few laps and I got to hold my position.
Shit, I got bills to pay.
Right, I got 3 kids, dude.
I got bills to pay.
You gotta be aware of that. So, yeah.
Hey, tell me what it's like for you, like, to get a whole shot in a main event. And I know you've done it, but like, you're like, damn, now what? How do I turn this into a solid finish where I don't look stupid? Because that's the way I would think immediately. I'd be like, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah, it's tough, honestly. So, like, it's weird. Like, when you do get a whole shot, especially, it's tough when you're racing against the best guys in the world. And typically, like, if you're not getting top 5 in your heat race, you don't have the best gate pick. So it's tough to get a whole shot, right? If you're not in the prime spots, and to be in those spots, you got to beat some really good riders in your heat race to get that gate pick, and things have to go right that day. So, but I will say, like, when you do rip the whole shot like that, it is like oddly, at least in my opinion, like, really, like, oddly and like eerily quiet. It's like, it's almost like you picture like the eye of a hurricane, right? Like, it's crazy, and then the eye of the hurricane, there's no wind. It's just completely calm.
Yeah.
It almost feels like what you would imagine something like that. You're out front. There's nobody in front of you. And because if you get even a 5th place start, right? You have 4 guys in front of you. You got, 14 guys or 16 guys behind you, whatever it is. And it's just chaos. There's guys trying to come in and stuff you. You're trying to pass somebody in front of you. You're 3 wide. It's just chaos right back there. But when you get the whole shot and there's nobody with you, even if it's for the first half a lap, it's just like, where is everybody? It's just me out here. Like, it's like very calm, but also very like nerve wracking because there's
They're coming.
21 other guys behind you that are like want to blow your doors off, right?
There's that red fender just knifing
really
it in there.
Weirdly quiet. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
funny,
but it's a good feeling. I'll take that feeling all day if I can.
Okay.
If I can,
for sure.
I can get it.
Hey, tell me about this Tampa track and why it gobbled up so many guys. Like, didn't look that crazy, that much different, but it was a problem for a lot of people, and I'm sure yourself included.
Yeah, it was pretty tight. That's the first thing I would say. Like a lot of the lanes weren't super long. It's a lot of like short stuff. So I had a very tight, like arena crossy feel, right? And then also the jumps were which they've been doing this at all the races. The jumps were pretty steep, pretty big, pretty beefy. They've been pretty technical. They had some good options, as well, like in the rhythms, which again, all good things. I like all that. I like the more technical. I think it slows the speeds down. So if you do hit the ground, it's not quite as bad normally. But it was on the tighter side. It was very steep. I just think the way the dirt broke down, that dirt's pretty hard packed, but they did get a lot of water and moisture in it like throughout the day. So it just broke down, especially the whoops. The whoops were pretty good. They weren't huge. They weren't small. They were like maybe just above average size whoops, but they got pretty tough just because of how they broke down. And so picture, they're pretty soft, right? Like they're fresh, they're watered. We hit them and they start breaking down. They're getting cupped out, getting holes, getting lines all in them. And then the way that dirt is, as it dries out, it kind of like, no, I don't want to say concrete, but it like turns to concrete. So all those places when the dirt was wet, all those holes, all those cups in the whoops, all those edges, they're still there.
Under that fluffy dirt.
Concrete, and then they get slippery, yes.
Got it.
So I think that's a lot of the reason that the whoops got some guys is that, the other thing, though, to me is, that's a place, I had to go to the LCQ this weekend, and that's where I made every pass. And even in the main event where I passed guys around me, it was in the whoops most of the time because they were tough. But you also just had to respect them a little bit. And I think sometimes we get these hard technical whoops. Like sometimes these guys need to go, all right, well, I might need to back her down just in this section really quick. Maybe not send it quite so hard, for 20 minutes. So I think that's where some guys, kind of need to learn, that too. Like look at Malcolm. He won. And I think a lot of it was because how good he was in those whoops, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a good separator. We're professionals. So to me, I don't think it's like, oh, they shouldn't have made them so hard. It's so big and so tough. Well, no, we're professionals. And look, a guy like Malcolm that excels at that, it was a part of allowing him to win.
Yeah.
So like, I like all of that. But yeah, I think it's just tough. There's so many good guys and everybody wants to do good. The track was technical. It was tight. The whoops were tough. The sand obviously in Tampa is always, very sandy. Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate. The Eli thing was kind of a freak thing. I think that happens anywhere, right? The Hunter Lawrence thing, again, he just landed on a tough block and, hit the ground just wrong.
Yeah.
Not even really that bad. That could happen any week. Look, I clipped the tough block at Anaheim too and had a bad crash. So like the Hunter thing was could have happened anywhere. The Eli thing, in my opinion, could have happened anywhere. The Pierce thing, obviously, in the whoops, obviously very unfortunate.
Ken in the sand.
Again, it's
RJ
tough whoops, and then the sand. The sand is tough. I'm not the biggest fan of sand on the Supercross track. I don't mind it when it's in a straight line like that, like just down a straightaway.
Yeah.
But it is very sandy in Florida, that sand, compared to like say Arizona, Glendale sand. It's tough. So maybe they could back it down a little bit on the sand, but I'm a Florida guy, so it's hard for me to say that. I like the sand. So
somebody definitely forgot to tell Malcolm there was a problem with the whoops.
He had no clue.
He sent it through there. It was awesome to see.
Malcolm didn't get that note that those whoops are going to be tough.
Can you speak to that? Because I know you're friends with Malcolm and James, and like what that win obviously means to that family and happening down in Tampa. I mean, couldn't happen to a better guy.
100%. Like they're like a second family to me. And I grew up with me and James. One of my best friends growing up, and spent a lot of time with that whole family. Big James has helped me so much throughout my career, and still to this day, like I'm super close with Malcolm, and man, to see him get the win was like, guys, I honestly had like tears in my eyes for him, when I got to see him and went and saw him after the race, and just so pumped for him. Malcolm is like, he's the same age as my little brother, and like I said, me and James grew up. friends, and then like my little brother Malcolm grew up, together a bunch, and Malcolm is honestly like a little brother to me, and Big James, it was like my racing dad. When my dad wasn't there during the week when I'm training, Big James would always be there with me. So, they're, like I said, like a second family to me, and Malcolm's like a little brother. To see him get that win, man, it's something he's obviously more than capable of, but for him to actually pull it off and make it happen was just awesome to see. Just super pumped. Couldn't happen to a better person. And he was stoked after the race all day. Down in the tunnel. Again, we're pretty close, and I talked to him each time before we'd go out, and he was like third in the first qualifying session, then third in the next one, and all day I was like, dude, you're ripping, like riding good, because we get video of everybody, so I can see him a little bit. And I'm like, dude, you're riding good. The track's tight. I was like, get yourself in a good position, and freaking dude, just make it happen. And all day I could just tell he was just laser focused, like all day. And just to see it all come through the way it did was really cool. I could see it right from the beginning of the day. Obviously things happen, and doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but from the first practice to the main event, every time I talked to him, it was just like laser focus, and he was on a mission. And I'm glad he made it happen. It was really cool.
What if he just gets it and is like, okay, that's what I'm capable of. I know it now. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I can do this. Like we were talking about that earlier. What if he just ripped off like 5 wins? I mean, he's capable of something like that. I mean, he's got that kind of speed. He's
more than capable. Yeah. I mean, he's so talented and just an awesome rider on a dirt bike. And I think now, at least I hope, he proved to himself that he can like finish the job and make it happen. He's gotten podiums and all that stuff, but to go out there and like, it's not like he even got the whole shot and got lucky. I mean, he passed
everybody,
all the guys to get there. Yeah. And Chase did crash, and I'm pretty good friends with Chase as well. And Chase did crash, but Malcolm also closed the gap right onto him.
He was going to make that pass either way.
He was going to try.
I was going to say, like, even if Chase didn't go down, I think there's a good chance Malcolm still makes the pass in the whoops. You know what I mean? So if not, it'd be, I think, a battle right to the end. So for him to prove to himself that the guy winning the points and all that, whatever, he can be right there with that guy and beat him. I think and I hope he can bring that every weekend, and that's definitely what he's capable of, and I'd love to see it for Malcolm. He's my guy.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. So so you have stated that this is your last season of Supercross. You're sticking to that. You feel confident about that?
I know everybody keeps asking me and honestly, I don't fully trust myself, but that's why I said at the beginning of the year, I'm like, yeah. So I would say, like, just a little bit of context and background to it. I would say, honestly, probably like the last 4 or 5 years. I'm 37. I'll be 38 this year. So, since I'm 33 or so, like I said, last 4 or 5 years, every year people are always like, "You're gonna race again next year? You're gonna do it again next year?" And I've been like, well, I'm going to go through this year, and then towards the end of the year, I'll kind of evaluate, like, do I want to race another year?
Yeah.
If I do, then I'll go into the off season and prepare and do another year, whatever. So I've kind of done that, like I said, the last 4 or 5 years. And then going into this year, kind of had that same evaluation. Hey, do I want to race another year? And I'm like, I want to race this year, but it just felt, talking to my wife and just, my close people, it's just like, I think this is the last year I want to, fully do this, fully commit. Like,
for sure.
Because if I'm doing it, that's the thing. People say, now that I've said this is my last full year, I'm not like just mailing it in either, right? Like, I'm not just out there joyriding around. Like, I still want to go do just as good as I always have, or better, So, still prepared like normal. I'm still focused like normal, even though I'm, saying it's the last year. And I just, it just feels, like I said, I've went just on kind of more my feeling, and it just feels right. Like, just feels like time. I still feel like I said, I feel like I feel the same as I did 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I could do it for another 4 or 5 years, maybe, but, and like I said, I've had a pretty good year so far. I'm still making the mains every week and got 15th this past week. I'm still up there. So it's not like, I'm not like, oh, I'm just retiring because I don't have it anymore. I can't do it. It just feels right. I've done it a long time, and just kind of, I want to not try something different, but just, I think it's time. Still love racing. I love riding. That's why I've kind of said this is going to be my last full season. Because, if we go back to Tampa next year, there's no telling. I might be like, you know what? I'm showing up this week. I'm going to Tampa. Just one race. I'm going to go race.
Yeah.
Or like Daytona. I love Daytona. Why maybe I go race Daytona next year, just show up and race. Or Southwick. I love the sand and I always love that. Maybe I'm riding and having fun. I want to go show up to Southwick and do a race. Or, look at like Dean Wilson, like what he's doing this year. There's a lot of cool races overseas. I love traveling. The World Supercross stuff, maybe I got to do, that's a short series, over a couple months. Like, I'd still love to go do that. Look at Brayton. He kind of retired from here, but still did World Supercross for a year or two. And
all right, then you're not retiring.
Well,
that's okay.
I don't.
That's a nice segue out.
Well, I'd say I don't see myself just being like, okay, Salt Lake City, boom, done, out of here, guys. I'll never see you again. Like, I love the sport. I love what I do. With the team right now, I kind of have, I'm racing, but I still have a bit of a testing role. Bike development stuff with the team and helping Kenny. So like, I love that. With doing that, I get to ride still, which I love riding. I love all the stuff during the week, and I'm good at testing. I'm very sensitive on the bike, feeling stuff. So like, whether I transition to like a full-time testing thing or a coaching thing, I'd love passing my experience on to some of the younger guys, and whether it's amateur kids or kids racing Supercross. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me, for coaching stuff and trying to help, with Supercross. And I love coaching and helping and trying to pass my knowledge on to people. So whether it's like a testing thing or a coaching thing, I love like the business side of racing too, like doing my own stuff, my own team, my own program for a lot of years, just throughout my career on and off. I love that side, like the managing and getting everything ready. And I've been on great teams. I've done it on my own, everything in between. And I feel like the managing side of things, the business side of it, I enjoy that too. So whether it's testing or coaching or managing, I love all that stuff. So like, I definitely don't want to just go away from the sport. I love it. But the full-time racing and training and preparing, and it's, if you want to be competitive, it's more than a full-time job. It's nonstop. You know what I mean? Like I said, my kids are getting bigger, and that's why it just kind of felt right, to kind of put the brakes on that a little bit. But that doesn't mean I still don't want to, be doing all the other stuff involved with the sport, and, racing maybe when I want to, or, hitting the races I do want to do. And whether it's testing, coaching, managing, we'll kind of see where I fit in and see what happens. But so that's what I've stated. Last full season is the plan. Like I said, I don't trust myself to just say I'm never going to show up and race again, because I love it. And I feel like I could take 6 months off and be like, I'm good. I don't want it anymore. Like I had 6 months off and I'm good. I lost the itch. But I could take 6 months off or a month off and be like, no, I want to go race. I'm gonna show up and go do this race.
I think we'll see you. You'll be at like a Winter Am or something. You'll be like 215. Or like, he's not riding next year, boys.
Yeah.
250.
Honestly, Loretta's too. Like, I loved growing up. I had so many good memories growing up at Loretta's.
Yep.
And like, it'd be cool to go back and do Loretta's. The hard thing for that is, I believe the rule is, like, I have to take 2 years off from pro racing before I could go back. So like, if I did that and whatever, like after 2 years, I might be like, I don't want to go back to do all checked. If I'm going to go to Loretta's, I want to do good.
Yeah.
And like after 2 years, I might be like, I don't want to do it, but I might want to do it. So like, I foresee myself, that's a possibility. I'll go back to Loretta's and just have some fun, go with the family for the week. And
you developed,
there's no talent. So
you developed a craft. So you are excellent at your craft. And I see like that Justin Brayton model is like super smart. I mean, he doesn't have that's probably the best program in motocross. He goof off. Well, I know he didn't goof off, but have summers free. He didn't have to be at races during the summer, and then hit this fall schedule. And if you can line up the right ride, you get a nice payday. And
he's got a testing gig. It keeps him on the bike, keeps him sharp like you. I mean, shoot, dude, you're in a good spot. You got choices. So
and you've got 20 years. Your base fitness has been going on for 20 years.
Yes.
Like, it's not like you're trying to get in shape. You know what I mean? You have a base. You just, like you said, like you did today or whatever, you kick in a few intervals and you're right back at it, physically.
Go get a road named after you at Loretta's, and there you go.
We do need a Chisholm Road.
Chisholm Avenue. Chislamic.
Yeah.
Kevin was big on saying the nation of Chisholm.
Yes, that's a
Nick
big.
said you were from Chislamabad or what was it?
Chislamistan.
Chislamistan.
Speaks the nation of Chisholm.
He's
strong.
The president of Chislamistan.
He is the president. Yes, 100%. I just didn't know when I asked you about, is this year your final year? I really meant more like, what in the world kind of retired rider would you be? There's no way you're going to sit still. I mean, not only with kids.
I'm a busybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a busybody just in general. Like I got to stay busy. So, like I said, all those things. I love all those things. I still love riding. So, like I said, I could see myself doing any or all of those things. Like from a man, like when I worked with David Villeman, like 2011, I believe it was. He was the team manager for Moto Concepts, right? So he was the manager, but he also came to the track and helped me. Not every day, but whenever he could.
Yeah.
He'd come out and coach me and help me, right? So he was like a team manager and a coach. He got to pass on his training and all that stuff. And he was the manager, right? He didn't do much testing then. But like for me, I would love to manage a team, test for a team, coach riders on the team.
Drive the truck.
You could do all those things. Yeah,
Race
I don't know,
every now and again.
My dad could drive the truck. My dad could drive the truck. That's
there
what
you
he
go.
does,
I mean,
but,
Pete Rose was a
so,
coach and a player for the Phillies, or the Reds.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So that like I said, any of those things, I enjoy all of those, and for different reasons, whatever. So yeah, nothing's set in stone, nothing's done, but. Yeah, I want to focus on my racing right now and kind of see how that stuff plays out and what makes sense. And
well, if it's anything like how
what
you've
opportunities
been,
come up.
Yeah, if it's anything like you've been, there will be opportunities come up. I mean, I think you're a very trusted name and a very dependable name in pro motocross and pro supercross. So I think your next chapter is going to be just as intriguing as this one.
But I can see you,
I appreciate that.
like with your energy and everything, I can see you taking like 2 months off and be like,
no, I'm not done.
Shit, I'm going. I'll be at Anaheim. Thanks. I'm headed to Anaheim.
Yeah. That's like I said. That's why I don't trust myself. And I'm like, okay, not saying I'm never racing again because I don't trust myself at all in that. So
that's a perfect place to be.
Like I said, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a perfect place to be. You can pick and choose.
A little scary but exciting at the same time. So like I said, we'll see kind of what opportunities come up. And like you said, I'd like to think, I have quite a bit I can offer from any of those perspectives: testing, coaching, managing, all that stuff, and the right thing will happen, and we'll see what it is.
Yeah, you're in a good spot too. Florida's not the Wisconsin of American motocross. I think there's tons of opportunities from coaching to helping with a track or a team. You could do a bunch from down there.
Yeah, a lot of guys based here in Florida now, as you know. Still California is a bit, and Texas probably too, but a lot in Florida these days. So that's it's always good. So
right on.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think we covered it all. So. You are the Brett Favre. You're not done yet. You're going to go to Minnesota for another year. You'll play there, play it out, and NFC Championship, and we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have any other sports that you're into? Are you into anything else?
I like golf. That's probably the main. I like fishing. I probably fish 2-3 times a year. My dad's got a boat. They live over by the water, so try to get out with them sometimes. But like I said, the way our schedule's been with the playoffs and the World Supercross, we're gone, like 35 weekends a year. So not a lot of time to do that stuff. But I do like golf. Golf is probably my number one. Like fishing. I love football. Obviously, I'm not playing football, but I love football season. And, that's probably the sport football and golf are what I follow the most, outside of racing. But love watching football, love playing golf and getting out there. I might try to take like I said, 3 girls. I'm like, I got to find stuff to do with them. They don't want to ride dirt bikes, which I'm glad, whatever. They like going to the track and riding with me on my bike, but they don't have any interest in like riding themselves. So I'm good with that, but they do like golfing. I try to take them golfing with me and something for dad and daughters to go do. And so, try to take them with me whenever I can. And my brother's into golfing. A lot of friends like golf. So golf's my go-to.
Yeah, for sure. Long game right there.
Play it till you're 100.
Yeah, play it till you're 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, do you remember when they used to do other sports at Loretta's? Like they would do like basketball, they did softball.
Yeah, I still have a jersey in my closet. I don't even know why it's in there. It's in like a bag in like a storage thing. But I have a jersey from one of the years that I did the basketball thing. Me and James did the basketball thing one year.
Yeah, so, I remember going to that.
Those are fun times.
Yeah, they were, because you could see how ill-prepared motocross riders.
Crowning sporting
you could be the average rec league guy and go against those homeschool motocross guys and just light them up.
Kevin is really proud of his 100%. Performances at Loretta's.
Dodgeball, namely.
Which I think you were good. You were decent at basketball, right, Kevin?
Kevin's a good basketball player.
Average, but when you go play
it, but average against homeschool
homeschool guys, it is incredible.
Like Kevin, you are the Jordan.
Because look, and I'll say this: myself, Mike Shakoff, and Ryan Cunha, we took on Jack Chambers, Drew Adams, and who's the other kid? Dang it, another kid. Anyway, those 3 kids. Evan Ferry in basketball, and
Yep.
at Ponca City, and we had matching Globetrotter uniforms. We did the whole deal, knee pads, everything,
Yes.
and absolutely demolished those three kids. And let me just tell you, anytime I'm on the mic, I completely ruin them.
Remind them of it.
Yeah, because
every
they
time?
just like they've never. That was probably the first time they ever bounced a ball. It was so good.
Yes.
Just some old
Yeah.
guys from the '80s that
Were you like that, Kyle? Like when you played those other things at Loretta's, were you able to sort of play, or were you terrible?
I would say I'm like pretty athletic and like for the most part, but for sure like basketball. So like I'm not the best by any means, but I would say I'm pretty athletic in most things I do. But like, yeah, I'm not by any means like a basketball player. The average rec guy at the gym would smoke me, whatever. So
Yeah, that's like Jimmy Albertson and his brother play at the Y a lot, so they would light dudes up.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
in
yeah.
our world, they're very good. So.
Yeah.
yeah,
If you come up against a homeschool motocross guy, put money down
Just
on
go ahead and
whoever
bet
the
on
other
yourself.
guy.
Whoever it is, just take it off.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, thank
But
you
those
so
were
much,
good
man.
days back at Loretta's. Those were good times. Like that's what I was saying about me going back to Loretta's. Is so many good memories growing up, all that kind of stuff.
It's special.
Good time.
For sure.
Stuff you
it's
missed out
special.
on. Ricky always talks about he wishes he would have kind of slowed down and played out there in the water a
the
little bit more,
creek
went to
or
the game
whatever.
room or
Yeah.
whatever.
I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
Ricky wished that he could have played basketball growing up, and I was going to be like,
He's a little short for
Probably
that.
not. Yeah.
He handled the rock,
He needs
though.
another foot or two on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
That he does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He made it work in motocross. Basketball might have been a stretch even for him.
It's a push. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was little in
picked
Moto.
the right sport for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked the right sport. So.
Absolutely. Well, dude, thank you so much for picking
All right.
up the phone, my friend, and best of luck in your not farewell season.
Hey, and a great career too,
Yep.
man.
Heck yeah,
I think it's awesome that you're always in the talks of one of the most dependable guys that's always going to perform.
I think we're going to be talking to you like 7
thank you,
years. We're going to
guys.
be like, 7 years from now, we're going to be like, so Kyle,
Remember
do you
when
think,
you were going to call it a career?
Yeah.
He's like, keep getting rides, man.
I just
I don't-
couldn't let go
Pull
of
Tom,
these
pull
two.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Get a Tom Brady.
Pull a
Out of
Tom
retirement,
Brady,
whatever.
man.
Yeah,
Walks-
we'll see.
leaves his family, his superstar model,
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to leave that part out of it.
Yeah,
Leave
don't-
that part
don't
out.
don't do that.
Let's don't do that.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
hold on to that
no.
money.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for
Yes.
being on, brother. Safe travels and have a good
Yeah.
one this weekend in Detroit. Don't
Yes.
Yeah.
go anywhere you shouldn't be up there.
We're pulling for you. Good
Yeah,
luck.
I won't. I'll stay close. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
See you,
Always a
buddy.
pleasure to talk to you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Kyle.
it.
See ya.
I love you.
Bye. Bye.
He loves. Yeah, I know he loves us. I know.
You know, I heard through the grapevine,
He does.
somebody sent me a message and they said that the reason that Jordan was doing so well, Jordan Smith, who won that race and was doing so well, because he knew that I loved him.
Oh, so it sort of filled the hole.
Alan
in
Nuts
his
texted
heart.
me that today. He goes, "Yeah, man, something's
Yeah.
going on between John and Jordan.
No, it's not
John,
me.
Nick Blackmon,
Yeah.
Oh, John. Yes.
Double
J
J.
and B.
He's-
JJ, dog.
It's J and B.
My love gave him all the confidence.
He's still doing good.
Me telling him that I loved him just gave his.
Sometimes it's just finding those missing pieces.
Yep, that
You
just
know?
put him over
The
the top.
love.
Yeah, he just needed that confidence. He needed to feel the love and know that.
And
hey,
just know that a
I
beautiful
got your
man.
back.
and doggone
with
it,
nice
we
locks.
like you.
People
Yes.
like me. I'm good enough. I'm strong
Hey,
enough.
Jordan's
I'm
one of
fast
the
enough.
nicest people there are, and I think Chisholm's in that same boat.
Yes,
I don't think anybody. He'll have opportunities whether he wants
Immediately.
them or not.
Immediately,
people
yeah.
are going to offer because they would like to be associated with him. Man,
Yeah.
he's proven. And heck, just this many years, how much could he save an aspiring pro in troubles?
Oh, let's cut the. Let me steer you here. You go here. Get this bike. Go to this trainer.
He would make it seem so.
You don't need to
simple.
do that. You don't have to
Yeah.
go to that race way over there. You can do this stuff right
Stay
here.
right
Save you a
here,
bunch
make
of
your
money.
money. Yes.
Yeah.
Save your money, make your money. Yeah. Same thing.
and it's awesome. Like him talking about having his own program. He has been doing it that long. And if he's, I mean, if he feels like his fitness is good, he does have 20 years of base to build. I mean,
Yeah, I
you've been
think it's
doing
just
it
some
that
fine
long.
tuning at that point,
Yeah,
right?
it's all fine tuning.
Heck, he probably rides less, works out less, everything than he used to.
I mean, probably a couple of interval workouts a week.
Yeah.
Or if he goes into like before the season, he's got 4 weeks, 5 weeks of
Good to go.
2 or 3 interval workouts a week.
I think the big hurdle for him is
he's
going to be his
good.
kids. I think he's going to be like, man, I'm in the meat and potatoes of their.
Well, if
youth
one's
and-
9, I mean, you really only have till they're 14, and
Right.
then they're so busy with their
But
friends.
if you think about it, we've all done that. I mean, you're all,
That's what
like,
men-
like you said, just
Men have to.
They learn some work ethic from watching you do what you do.
There's that.
And you do have to.
And fortunately, his work is his passion. He actually likes his work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's
It's a
great
showing
example.
them,
it could
he's
be
teaching them a
worse.
lot.
He could be doing a shitty job
That's something he hates.
And doing 80
Working at
hours a week and
Arby's,
staying away from
pissed
his
off.
kids.
Damn
Yeah.
curly fries getting mixed.
Me
with
at
white
Arby's
fries.
talking about what you had was.
The Arby's sauce, dog. People throwing stuff at you in the window.
Yes,
that
I ain't
order.
down with that.
That's
I'll
what
sling
it is.
this roast beef right in your damn
Right
face.
there in
dude.
your hometown, Lithia Springs.
Speaking of drive-throughs, when I
take
was,
that order.
That's one of the worst ones. That's one of the first Arby's I've ever seen too.
no, there was one on 41
But
down
it's
there.
still there.
There's one on-
the one in Lithia
Yeah.
Springs is still there.
There's one on 92 as well.
That when I was in high school, we had
Kyle
this,
worked at that one.
this guy. He had a Monte Carlo with a V8, and
Oh,
he'd
yeah,
pull
he
into
did.
he'd pull into the McDonald's drive-through, and as soon as they started trying to take his order, he'd start power braking it, and he would power brake it the whole time he screamed his order, and then he would power brake it all the way around the building, and then when they would open that window, all the smoke would go in because it was like a negative balance on the HVAC system or whatever. You know how you open a door and
suck
air
in
comes in, so it would just all the smoke would go in. He'd be watching from the passenger side, man, and it'd just be smoke everywhere in McDonald's. Not good smoke either, not like cooking.
I mean, it's
It
good
was
smoke. I like to smell burnout. Rubber smoke.
burnt good years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That dude's
thanks.
making $3.75 an hour having to deal with that shit.
Could you
I'd be
imagine?
pissed.
Worse.
Dumb teenage
that
punk.
was stupid. You remember, like, some of the old cars, the windshield washer things were just like
Oh, you could spin them
You
around.
spun them around and you squirted
Aim
shit
them
out
at
of
the
it.
dang dude in the drive.
Spring break, everybody turned them to the side. You just blast everybody on either side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole
Yes.
Davies. Hey, I asked Mike Shackhoff. I said, "Did you listen to that interview?" He goes, "Yes, I did." He goes, "You got him to open up. It was funny, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "And I have no idea what he said at the end." I said, "Good, because we
Nobody
Nobody
knows.
did.
Because we wanted to start using that word.
Jubiloso, right?
Yes.
Whatever that was.
Jubiloso. We want to use it, right? But we
I
don't
don't
know
know
what
what
he
that
even
is.
said, and we dang sure don't know what it means.
If you haven't listened, you should go back. Cole Davies was really good. Kylie
Yeah.
Stallings
You mean
was
we
as
can
well.
listen to this afterwards?
Anytime you want. That's
You
the
can
crazy
listen
thing
to it
about it.
anytime. The YouTube
What?
is coming. So sometimes YouTube will be 2 days
You
behind.
mean like we can
sometimes.
replay this show and listen to it?
Yes.
100%, son. See, and all them times you thought, oh, it's cool. I'll just film it. Nobody, or they won't know it's me, and they won't
No, they
remember.
know now.
Now it's gonna live in.
You'll know
Now I
everyone
gotta
from
quit saying so much stuff.
Chisholm will be able to watch Kyle Chisolm and see how he finished.
Well, maybe
the
I
day.
shouldn't tell so much personal stuff.
You shouldn't, because it's
Sometimes
forever.
You do hang
You
it
do.
out there.
Talking about the pump track?
Oh my God!
The pump track.
Getting
dude.
pumped at the pump track?
Hey, who
Can
films
you imagine
the
me
pump
being
track?
in court and having this show like
And
played?
going, I didn't do that. And then they're like, well, sir, in
Please
episode
bring up
7
episode. At the
episode
30-minute
6,
mark, you're talking about pumping moms at a pump track?
Hey, who filmed that? That made it to the broadcast. Who came over here 2 miles from my house and filmed that?
The parents, they asked you to
I
submit
did.
it.
Oh, you had to submit it.
Yeah.
Nick,
I did.
Nick's like, hey.
Oh, he
you
was
just
filming
keep
other
doing your
stuff.
thing.
That
I'll
was just
film
some
you.
B-roll from Nick's pump track
What- if you watch
excursions
that
with the
footage,
mom.
That's where I
the
dropped
camera's
my
going
phone.
Like this right here. The camera's like rocking back and forth.
I
the whole
dropped
time.
my phone and just happened to land straight up like that.
And keep filming the kid.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, because if
heck yeah.
that thing would have been flipped around to
It's a-
selfie mode, it
It's a whole different
would
site.
have had to
at
been on
that
a different
point.
channel.
Yeah, you're not on the broadcast for that. You're on like some other broadcast.
Yeah.
Hey, you know one thing I don't think about like Kyle Chisolm, a pro career as long as he's had, and just he always ends up on pretty decent bikes and stuff.
Damn, he's on Ken Roxon's team, right?
Yeah, he's got.
Is that Twisted Tea? Is he on that team?
HEP? Is it not Dustin Pipes still?
It's Roxon's team, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that not still
It's a
HEP?
great bike. Yeah.
So I just think all the years has he just got stuff piled up everywhere. Like, you know how Ricky, they always talk about the stuff he ran through at the goat farm, just piles of junk everywhere. Does Kyle have that? I mean, does he have stacks and stacks of parts?
And clothes, like
and
gear.
clothes,
and
gear.
like-
Weird, like donations that never happened in California, Paula, or wherever the hell it
Yeah. I
happened.
mean, is he piled up with that kind of
I
stuff?
would love
How
to
could he
know.
not be? How could you not accumulate after a
Some
career
people
as long
stole
as his?
or
we
sold a bunch of
accumulate
stuff.
stuff from just going to shit.
Yeah.
Much
so
less being
Imagine if you're a guy that they're shipping it to you.
they're giving it to you.
Speaking of going places, we got our race coming up October 17th, 18th, and 19th. The
right
Great
around the
Escape
corner.
Year 2. It's just 8 months away, thereabouts.
Picked up the
Vintage.
starting gates today. The bent
What?
metal. I have them.
Where are they at? You got to take pictures
Well, they're in
of
the
this
barn.
stuff.
I know. See, and
That's
Jake's
you got to
like,
chronicle everything.
Why didn't you take a picture?
Yes, that's
well,
a huge
it was
deal.
pouring down rain. I had to unload them with a skid steer.
Skidster.
I was up there with that skid steer, and
Timeshares. I'll get rid of your timeshares on the
we do need
skidster.
somebody to help get rid of some timeshares.
Some
I can
timeshares, some
promise you.
skidsters, some
Oh,
Panama
that's with
City
blue green,
timeshares.
You're safe.
helicopters.
Helicopters. We
We do have the gates.
That's awesome.
So the steel will probably be here by
That's
Friday.
like $2,500, isn't it?
No, I actually saved some money. But they're a little thicker than what we had at the Bremen gate.
Well, them things are good.
As far as true steel thickness, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's gonna last, man.
Heck
it's gonna last. So
that's a $15,000 gate.
It's gonna be expensive, yeah, but it'll be. I believe we can start having
it needs to be
section a week,
big and sturdy and all that because
awesome.
we're going to use it once a year.
Exactly, and we want this thing to last.
So yeah, our event is all for charity on a full grass track, and it will be 98% grass this year because that bad boy is like you saw the picture.
Yeah, because you don't have.
There's
to
a face of a
build.
jump that's got a little bit of dirt, and that's it, dude.
Yeah,
and you can see the two straightaways to the left of that tabletop. You're like, whoa. There's...
Oh, you're talking about from Andy's
Yeah,
morning time picture. He's the calm before the storm photo right there.
Yeah, so the track is there. It's all that stuff's done. The marketing's just slowly starting to roll out. So we hope you'll join us. Mark your calendars. October 17th, 18th, 19th. We got vintage. We got modern. It's a damn good race. I think
it's great. Awesome. It had a good vibe to it, and that's kind of the thing. We do everything we can to not schedule the race at the same time as someone else, but we called it first. We called it the minute the other race was over, and it's hard because somebody always has something going on somewhere else in the country. And we didn't schedule it that weekend for any other reason than Georgia has absolutely gorgeous weather in the fall.
Yeah, and we have to work around all of our promoters that have graciously allowed us to hey, you take that date and we'll stay off it's not even a series date.
Not only that, but you announce for a ton of races. So it's also when is Kevin off? Yeah. That's part of it. I mean, that's part of the thing. Well,
Vicky Roberts and the Georgia folks in Georgia and then the Sam Gammons and Muddy, everybody knows about our race and everybody kind of just laid off of it, which is awesome. So
it is awesome. But I mean, there's a lot to go into. You can't just throw out a date. You might have to work at your normal job. You might have to announce a race. There might be another local race going on. But for that weekend in Georgia, there's nothing really happening. There's a couple other small things, but
there's nothing happening on purpose. I'm telling you, because Vicky and them have arranged at Calhoun, and Vicky Roberts have stayed off of that for us to do our thing.
For sure. But that's kind of what I'm saying is that's the whole. That's the weekend. And
that's the one.
Hopefully we'll get the same weather we had last year. Man, it couldn't have got any better.
Dude, I mean,
maybe a little rain leading up to it.
That weather was ridiculous. It was hot. I got sunburnt.
Yeah. Well,
that's a great problem to have. Red and stupid. So
red on the head, son. But you were also outside for how many hours over that weekend? Like 36?
On that damn mower's what got me.
Oh my the mower did turn his skin inside out.
We got that, and then we're about to get busy with we got Daytona coming up. The very next weekend after that, Stay in the Dirt.
Yeah, and we really need to. And then Barber, Barber's coming. That'll be almost exactly a month. April 5th and 6th for Barber Post Vintage National, right? Yeah, so me and Nick are going to be full Honda on that deal at Barber.
Factory Honda.
Maybe, I mean, we're going to be as close as we can get, right?
Yeah. Are you rolling the 623 out there?
Yes. Yep, and then Nick is...
you got to bring that KX80 for no reason.
It needs to just be a pit bike. If it is, I have to sell it. You know what I mean? There'll be so many dudes lined up.
Let people look at it.
Okay.
There'll be so many dudes lined up, Nick. For RV hookups.
Yeah, RV hookups.
For RV hookups.
There he is, Malcolm with the dub.
Well, the KX60. We got to bring both of those, the 60 and the 80,
that's
right?
That's the fifth in his hand.
I know,
that
man.
I've ever. I mean,
you're like a gunshot.
The meat was off of one of his hands, like the size of a silver dollar.
You could see through his hand.
Could you imagine just sweating and ripping it even more?
He
the
rode
raw meat.
That whole 90-minute moto.
Can you imagine typing the next day at Michelin, going,
yeah, typing,
bleeding all over his keyboard.
Hey, like when you're trying to put lotion on the next day and you're burning your hands.
Lotion, of course.
Hair gel.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to product your hair up, and it's just like that stuff really burns.
I don't want to bring the vibe down, but there was some heavy news out of Itchicony.
Yeah,
this past weekend, Dalton Hill passed away with an accident on the track. I don't know the details of it. It's terrible. There is a fundraiser for his family because, I don't think it's any secret that most people racing motocross, I mean, it's expensive. And sometimes people are, I don't know the status of the Hill family, but I just know it's expensive. And they're probably not sitting there with a young kid thinking, oh, man, I better have enough money in the bank for a funeral. So his name is Dalton Hill. It was I think you can look it up on Ichikani's page. There is a link to the fundraiser.
It was on WSB's.
Yeah.
Channel,
was it?
Yeah.
So look that up if you get a chance, and maybe donate something to a family with a nice young kid that nobody deserves to have.
It's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
It is, and once you have kids, it'll sting any parent when you take a second and think of that. But we love this sport so much, and it also has a hardcore side that we hate to even acknowledge. But I just know there's a family in need. Most motocross people, as long as they know the need, they'll step up every time. We proved it at our race.
For sure.
There was a family in need in our community, and dang if everybody didn't come out and say things like, "That's fine, keep the change," or just overpay on purpose. Nah, just take this. And just things like that.
Yeah. So if you need to look it up, it's a GoFundMe for Dalton Hill.
Yeah.
Give
Was
$1.
he 10 years old or something?
12.
Like that?
Yeah, he looks like
65.
He was 12
years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a mini bike kid, and so our thoughts go out to that family. That's a gnarly, terrible thing. So I didn't want to bring it down.
No, you got to.
But it's the reality of the sport. It's the reality, like when we talk about go ride, because you've only got 10 more summers to ride, or 20 more summers to ride, or whatever it is, whatever that number is. It's a terrible reality of our sport and life that things like this happen.
If you go to these vintage races long enough, you will see people die at the vintage races just because they're 70 years old or 72 and they just had a heart attack. I know 3 people that have died racing a vintage race. And for an older guy, dude, I don't think I could order a better way out.
There's 2 ways. It could be on the bike or
there he go. Look at his eyes.
At a pump track.
Or in the bed.
Yes.
If I got to go.
The 2 best ways to
die. If I'm going, if I get to pick which way I'm going. Now, if I could go by a heart attack, I wouldn't go from like a jealous ex-husband or somebody that.
Killing you at a pump track.
Yeah, killing you at a pump track. But if you had to go.
In a loving relationship. See, and your wife's strong enough that you could collapse on top of her and she could get free.
Yeah.
There's some women that aren't that.
That's the only reason she trains is so she can
fight you off when you do die.
She knows that's the way I want to go, and she wants to be able to shuck me off
every time Nick's feeling.
He's got a noose in the room. This is the night.
That's what we do at the gym. A lot of times we practice that, and I just lay on her.
Get me off.
We do push. We do
in another way. Get me off that way.
We just do push-offs. We call them push-offs.
Yeah.
So she push-offs. So I lay on top of her.
Like
she's
3 sets of 10
get this
or
dead
something.
son of a bitch off, and she pushes me off.
Does she have to say that in the gym
every time? She's
call 911.
So Nick just collapses every time.
Just lays on his wife.
It took a few times for security quit getting weirded out about it. You do push-offs. It's the same thing as
they finally realized it's just a workout you're doing.
You have to take care of yourself. The 2 best things, you have to do push-offs like that. Your wife needs to be able to push you off like that. And then when I tell people all the time, we talk about, they're like, what can I do to work out? And I was like, the best exercise to lose weight is obviously push backs.
And forth.
Or fight her on it, it's basically raping her.
Just where you push your ass back from that table and don't eat whatever.
That is a good one.
Pushbacks.
Got him.
Pushbacks are the best way to lose weight.
Hey, it's amazing what moving all the time and not eating will do. I just never do that. I always eat. I keep moving. I'm never not moving, but I just keep eating, man.
That's it.
Shovel it.
We are done. John, Nick, Jake. Awesome. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Hot or Not.
There's not a
Rate
Facebook.
My Poo.
So you lied.
Oh, there's no Facebook. You're right.
Lied like hell.
Did we give away? We gave our stuff away on MySpace, didn't we?
Yes.
Hot like our best MySpace.
To your top 8.
Yeah.
All your feet pics.
Yeah.
They're gone right of stock.
Love y'all.